Hi, everyone. So when was the last time you guys wrote a love letter? Well, I wrote one at the age of 21, and I can tell you how terrible I was at expressing my feelings. Hi, we are Instoried, and we are a team of very, very passionate techies and marketeers who decided to come together to help you add life into a rock using technology. So we primarily work in the content space, text content. So if you look at the content marketing life cycle, it essentially comprises 5 stages, starting from conducting research about the kind of content that you want to build, to creating a strategy, to then creating and editing this content, to publishing this content across platforms and forums, and finally measuring what your engagement and performance has been like post-publishing. Needless to say, there are a multitude of tools available out there which help you track your engagement and performance post you've published it. Of course, the most emphasized one being Google Analytics. GA, as we all know, it gives you a very quantitative summary of how your content has performed. Essentially, metrics like open rate, click-through rate, number of people who joined, etc. But the challenge is that none of these tools really tell you that, let's say, if your content performed badly, even though you've spent so much money on your AdWords, SEOs, campaigns, etc., they don't tell you why it so happened. And that's exactly what we are trying to solve. So we at InStory thought that what if there were a way to gauge content effectiveness, content performance while you are creating the content, that is even before you've actually published the content, then that would be a huge value addition to the lives of marketers and brands globally. It's a very well-known fact that all of the consumer decision-making, consumer behavior is driven by emotions and not by logic. So what we've done at InStory is something phenomenal. We've built a very smart tool using which all of the content guys out there would be able to create content which is so much more human, so much more filled with empathy, that you'd be able to attract your customers really easily and also influence consumer decision making. All of it, of course, powered by a very data driven, scalable, and repeatable approach using AI. Like any other great company, it's a dynamic and efficient team that defines its future. Hi, I'm Charmeen, and I'm the founder and CEO at Instoried. I have about 10 years of enterprise sales experience, out of which 7 years I've lived in the US, working with Fortune clients, like started with Microsoft in the tech space, moved to Pfizer and Bristol Myers Squibb in the pharma space, and then finally to Allstate Insurance and Walmart briefly, resulting in over $100 million in revenue. After 6 years, I realized that I was just helping the rich get richer, wasn't adding too much value to my own life. So I decided to quit, came back to India, started my first company, which was in the media space, sold that, had a successful exit, and then started InStory 2 years ago with my co-founder and CTO, Raj. He has about 8 years of AI experience. He's also ex-Microsoft. He's also had a startup before this, exited from that, and then joined us full-time. We are a team of 25 people right now. I'm also happy to tell you that we've raised $2 million in seed funding from a number of eminent investors across India and the US, and we are now looking at scaling globally. From a market landscape, we are not alone in this space, which I think is great news because it validates that there's huge potential. Grammarly would be an indirect competition to us. They've raised over 200 million. I'm happy to tell you that we had an acquisition offer from them back in 2019 when we just launched our alpha. Two of our direct competitors are these two companies called Textio and Resonate, both based in the US. The biggest difference between Textio and us is that they're primarily in the HR tech space, and we essentially work with all of the internal marketing communication within a company or any external marketing communication based content. So how do we make money? We are a subscription-based SaaS model. We charge about $70 per seat per month. For all the smaller guys and for the larger companies, we use a retainer model of up to $20,000 per annum for unlimited amount of content. So how big are we talking about? Needless to say, content is a massive opportunity. The total addressable market size for us is over 70 billion. And the early adopters in Asia, since we are based in India, the early adopters amounting to over $500 million. I'm also happy to tell you that we started selling only in the middle of COVID-19, that is last year in April. We've grown 400% in the last 10 months. We've got some amazing customer feedback so far. We've helped increase inbound leads per post by over 300%. We've driven ROI by 1.5x. We're currently growing at a month-on-month rate of 60%. We've already got 3 acquisition offers. Right now, we are at the $60,000 in MRR, and we are about to get to $75,000 in MRR by the end of this month. And we have a very clear roadmap in place about how to get to $100,000 in MRR next quarter. We recently also went B2C, and I'm happy to tell you that we are about to close a partnership with one of the world's largest dating platforms, which would essentially take us to 30 million plus mobile devices. And then we are looking at expanding globally. We are right now doing another bridge round of 2 million, out of which 1.2 has already been committed, and I'm looking at closing the rest. I'd be happy to have a chat with you. Thank you.